more direct threat.
Hillary Clinton. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there in a way that surprised you.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. Looks like they drug the old bag of bones Hillary Clinton out on TV just about 24 hours after the second attempt on Donald Trump's life to demand that Americans be put in jail for free speech, to ratchet up the language, to call Trump dangerous. Again, in my opinion, the sole purpose of which is to intimidate Americans and to inspire a third attempt on Donald Trump's life. These people are gaslighting you, okay? They are out there. You know, Trump talked about how the left's rhetoric led to all of this, okay? It did. The left's rhetoric did lead to this, okay? This is obviously just my opinion, but when you tell 400 or 500 million people that this guy is the second coming of the mustache man from Germany, somebody's going to think that it's going to be heroic to insert themselves and try to remove him from the planet. And it is my opinion that they know this. People like Hillary Clinton absolutely knows this. And MSNBC knew exactly what they were doing when they trotted out the Crypt Keeper herself just the day after to ratchet the language back up to, in my opinion, essentially trying to encourage a third attempt on his life. Hillary Clinton says Trump is dangerous. Just one day after second attempt on his life, suggests charging Americans for spreading, quote, propaganda. One day after another attempt on former President Donald Trump, this is via the Post-Millennial, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told MSNBC host Rachel Maddow that she didn't understand why it was just so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. Again, when you're a deranged leftoid, and I have highlighted many of them on this channel, okay? When you're a deranged leftoid and you keep hearing he's dangerous, he's going to put LGBTQ people in camps, he's going to deport your families, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, right? What do you think is going to happen? What did they think is going to happen? On Monday night, Mad Cow asked the Crypt Keeper if she had the, quote, antidote for the media to realize that the more offensive he is, the more he can dominate the media space entirely. Clinton responded that the media covers the former president for his demagoguery. He is a danger to our country and the world. Remember when he was president in 2016? Things seemed pretty cool, pretty chill, bro. Pretty reliant, pretty consistent, okay? Other than the little missiles into Syria thing, okay? Other than that, it was pretty chill. They are trying to gaslight the American people into panicking. They want to try and force another attack like this. That's my opinion. She told Mad Cow, sadly, the press still is not able to cover Trump for the way they should. What do you mean? They're already spreading nonstop. Well, Project 2025, blah, blah, national abortion ban, blah, 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 blah. Nonstop lies. They careen from one outrage to the next. What was outrageous 3 days ago is no longer on the front pages, even though it threatens the physical safety of so many people, particularly, as you point out, immigrants that he and Vance have decided to demonize. Trump himself tweeted that he does want to have people immigrate to this country. He just wants it to be a merit-based system. He wants a fair pathway to citizenship. This is all totally fine, right? Clinton claims that the media was merciless following Joe Biden's disastrous performance at his debate with Trump this summer and called for him to step down, adding, I believe Trump has disqualified himself over and over again to be a presidential candidate, let alone president. I mean, this is Kamala Harris panicking, I believe. That's what I believe. I think this is Kamala Harris saying, "Oh my God, I need help," because that's important. I need to have trot out this old bag of bones that people still listen to because no one listens to me. This is Kamala Harris panicking. Barack Obama's former Secretary of State and prolific email deleter added, Americans need to understand that they have to take Trump both seriously and literally. He has said what he wants to do. He and his allies with Project 2025. Again, nobody believes he himself has come out to say absolutely positively he has nothing to do with Project 2025. The people of Project 2025 have said they have nothing to do with Trump. Okay? Yet here's Hillary Clinton, who wants Americans arrested for spreading propaganda, doing just that with her favorite cow to milk, Rachel Madcow. His desire to be a dictator, at least on day one. Again, talking point. That all the public record. And I believe that Americans have to be willing to endure what, frankly, is discomforting and to some extent painful, to take him at his word and be outraged. She then claimed that more and more Americans are rejecting the kind of chaos that he represents. No, they're not. He doesn't represent chaos. He represents a time in which we all remember things were great. You know, we didn't have a head of lettuce in the White House and an expired brown head of lettuce as the vice president. Okay? That's what Harris' campaign says all the time. We're not going back. We're not going back to what he failed to do to protect American lives during the coup. Like what? We're not going back to the romance with dictators. You mean how he kept world peace? During the interview, Clinton also suggested civilly or criminally charging Trump supporters who post, quote, propaganda, claiming there needed to be a, quote, deterrence. Listen to this, crotch, and tell me that you don't want to go and get involved. By the way, follow Tailgates for Trump on X. We're close to 8,000 followers right now.
We are only at the beginning of understanding the whole iceberg here. What the Russians started doing in 2015 and 2016, what they continued doing.
Didn't they endorse Kamala Harris? I'm pretty sure they did.
Gotten more sophisticated. They aren't even pretending anymore.
I'm sorry, Kamala.
Their international news operation, Russia Today, RT, is an arm of the Russian government, an arm of its.
By the way, Facebook just banned them last night. I wonder if that was in response to what Hillary Clinton said.
Intelligence operation. It's basically an extension of their spying efforts. They are using Americans, both those who are witting and willing, and those who are unwitting and are just so surprised. They're getting, $400,000 a week or $100,000 a podcast to.
She's bringing up Tenet Media.
Parrot Kremlin propaganda.
Never did. That was never proven. That was never proven in court at all. And no evidence was presented to the American people that those commentators were told to parrot anything from the Kremlin. But here we go. Again, this is, the fourth or fifth piece of propaganda Hillary Clinton has spread.
And we know from what even Republicans have said, the chairs of the Intelligence Committee and the, Foreign Affairs Committee and other Republicans who are currently in office have said that Republicans go to the floor of the Congress and they parrot Russian talking points. So I think it's important to indict the Russians, just as Mueller indicted a lot of Russians who were engaged in direct election interference and boosting Trump back in 2016.
Was that proven? I don't think that was. In fact, I'm pretty sure the New York Times or one of those media outlets laughed about how they got Joe Biden election, how they, quote, fortified it.
But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence, because the Russians are unlikely, except in a very few cases, to ever.
I mean, again, this is a Democrats' rhetoric inspired yet another attempt on Trump. So let's look at more of what this said. Hillary Clinton suggests jailing Americans for posting, quote, misinformation. Now, we know what the government says that is. That could be literally disagreeing with, wearing masks or whatever.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence, because then boost.
I mean, Hillary's getting soft. In the past, she would have said they should have had their lives ended. I wrote literally hours after a second attempt on Trump, Kamala runs a crypt keeper herself, shambles onto cable news to ratchet everything back up again by calling Trump dangerous. She's just mad she missed twice. I mean, this is just wild to me, you know? It's absolutely wild to me that, you know, this just says, again, Hillary Clinton pushes for criminal charges for Americans who spread, quote, disinformation. Well, we know what that could be. One day after President Trump was nearly lost his life for the second time in less than 3 months, MSNBC brought on Crooked Hillary, who called him a danger to our country and the world. So much for the whole tone down the rhetoric thing. I mean, last night, Jimmy Kimmel went on air and was like, you know, oh, Trump shouldn't be politicizing this, blah, blah, blah. Trump, you know, I think it was like Kimmel, Jimmy Kimmel rips Trump's insane reaction to the attempt on his life. What? I mean, Jimmy Kimmel, so the late night host did not hesitate to hammer Trump for immediately politicizing the second alleged attempt to take him out. The attempt itself is political in nature. This is another Jimmy Kimmel meltdown. I mean, what are you talking about? Like, of course he politicized it. They're trying to end his life, Kimmel, and it's people like Jimmy Kimmel's rhetoric, by the way, okay? They're the ones that get these loonies all whipped up thinking they're going to be heroes. Kamala Harris is panicking. Late night television is panicking. We're not going to panic. We're going to find a friend, get them registered to vote. You can find everything you need on tailgatesfortrump.com. Get them registered, get them voting. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.